And we are back. Welcome to my preview and prediction for tonight's Europa League final. 34 teams have been eliminated and just 2 remain. And wouldn't you know it, they're both from England. An unbelievable Europa League campaign thus far. And this has got to be probably the most high-profile Europa League or UEFA Cup final maybe ever. If you think I'm wrong about that, let me know in the comments which Europa or UEFA Cup final has had more on the line. Because for these two Premier League clubs, it is literally all or nothing. Tottenham Hotspur take on Manchester United. For Spurs, for their history, for their legacy, it is absolutely must win. For Manchester United, for their prestige and for their future, it is absolutely must not lose. The stakes could not be higher, and this is going to be my professional preview and prediction ahead of this match. I am posting another video because, if you can't tell, I am a Manchester United fan, so I do have my own biased thoughts on this fixture, but I take my job very seriously on this channel, and this is going to be my genuine and honest, purely unbiased prediction for this match. So before we get into it, if you haven't done so already, please do consider dropping a like on this video if you do enjoy all of my prediction series, and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, because obviously we'll be covering all of the other major finals coming up over the next few weeks, and we still have to conclude the Premier League and La Liga, and of course all the other content we've got coming up through you over the summer as well. But without any further ado, let's just get straight into it. The final taking place in Bilbao is Tottenham taking on Manchester United, and as you can see, certainly in the 2 main competitions that these 2 sides are completed in, there hasn't been much to split them. In the Europa League, United finished 3rd in the league phase, Spurs finished 4th, and obviously both have made their ways to the finals respectively. But the reason I have included where they finished in the Premier League, or where they currently are in the Premier League, is why this fixture has had so much talk about it and why it's got so many eyes on it. This has been by far Manchester United and Tottenham's worst Premier League seasons to date. Manchester United are 16th, Spurs are 17th, but one of these 2 sides is going to qualify for the Champions League. And obviously as a Manchester United fan, I'm desperate that it's us. But Spurs fans are obviously wanting to not only get in the Champions League, but they want to get that European silverware. As for the actual game itself, I think, based on what we've seen so far this season, Spurs have to be considered the favourites. I genuinely mean that. They have to be considered the favourites. Yes, they finished behind Manchester United in the league phase. Yes, they are behind Manchester United in the Premier League. But they're only behind Manchester United in the Premier League by 1 point. They actually have a positive goal difference. Just let that sink in for a moment. Spurs are 17th in the Premier League table and have a positive goal difference. They have +2. They're the 6th highest scorers in the Premier League, whereas Manchester United are on a goal difference of -12 and have scored fewer goals this season than they have in any other Premier League season, and accumulated fewer points than they have in any other Premier League season. Not only that, Spurs have already played Manchester United 3 times this season and have beaten them on all 3 occasions. They beat them 3-0 at Old Trafford in the Premier League, they beat them 4-3 in the EFL Cup, and then they beat them 1-0 at home in the Premier League just a couple of months ago. So they've got the head-to-head record. They're also unbeaten in their last 5 against Manchester United, with another draw and another win in those last 5. Furthermore, if you actually look at the 2 teams in terms of the starting lineups, Spurs have got more players that get in Manchester United's team than Manchester United have that get in Spurs' team. If you look at the teams head-to-head, you're basically looking at probably Bruno Fernandes as the only outright Manchester United player that would definitely get in Spurs' team. And then you can definitely make an argument, I would say, for Ahmad over Brennan Johnson, and possibly Dalot or Mazraoui ahead of Pedro Porro. But I think a lot of Spurs fans and maybe neutrals would probably go Brennan Johnson and Pedro Porro over the other options I've given. So, on paper, Spurs are the better team. On the head-to-head record, Spurs are the better team. The things that you have to put in favour of Manchester United, though, are, in my opinion, whether you see this as a biased opinion or not, I think Manchester United had a much harder route to this final, taking on the likes of Lyon and Bilbao, whereas Spurs haven't really played anyone of significance outside of Frankfurt, who, to their credit, they went and got that big away win in Frankfurt. On top of that, even further, Spurs are going to have the home field advantage. Everyone in Bilbao is bitter as to what happened for Manchester United in that first leg, with the red card and United obviously going on to win. So all the locals want Spurs to win this match. They're going to have that in their favour. A lot more of the stadium is going to be wanting Spurs to win than Manchester United to win as well. What you have got to say, though, is that in the last 10 years, Spurs have been in 3 major finals and they have lost all 3 and haven't won a trophy since 2008. In the same amount of time, in the last 10 years, Manchester United have been in 9 major finals and won, I've just said 8, 9 major finals and won 5 of them. And that's not including Community Shields, in which there's been another 3 more in Manchester United's favour as well. So technically, Manchester United have been in 12 finals in the last 10 years and have won more than they've lost. Spurs have only been in 3 and have lost them all. So that's a little bit of extra momentum in Manchester United's favour. And obviously, Manchester United have won trophies in the last 2 seasons as well. Then, of course, for the actual team news, there are a couple of injuries for Spurs. There are a couple of injuries for Manchester United. In terms of travelling squads, the only players that haven't travelled for Tottenham are James Maddison and Bergvall, which means that they aren't without a regular attacking midfielder. So likelihood here it's going to be Bentancur, Sarr and Bissouma in the midfield. So none of them really do tend to get forward. I have seen rumours they could be playing Odegaard as a number 10, but I think that'd be very surprising. For Manchester United, the only first-team players that haven't travelled are Alessandro Martinez, obviously out for a long, long time, and Matthias de Ligt. So it is going to be a semi-makeshift backline for Manchester United, with either Mazraoui filling in at centre-back, with Dalot being back in the squad, or Mazraoui will be at right wing-back and Lindelof will be in the back line. Also, Joshua Zirkzee has managed to make it on the plane to Bilbao as well. However, with everything on the line, I only really think there are 3 outcomes to this football match. Option 1, which I still think is the most likely scenario, is that Tottenham just win this game because they are a better team than Manchester United right now. They win it like 1-0, 2-0, like they did at Old Trafford and like they did in basically both Premier League games this season. Option 2 is Manchester United nick it by sitting in and producing results like they have in big games this season. You think of the game at the Etihad, where it was a 2-1 victory late on. You think of the FA Cup game against Arsenal, where they dug in and took it to penalties and won on penalties. You think of the game at Anfield, where if it wasn't for Harry Maguire skying it, United would have won at Anfield, whilst Liverpool was still at full metal chasing that Premier League title. They have proven that in big matches they can get a result. Or option number 3, which is the option I'm actually going to go for, I just think with the amount of pressure that is on both of these teams, I just think this is destined to go all the way. I think there is going to be drama. I think there is going to be mistakes. I think there's going to be goals. And I think it's going to go all the way to penalties. And I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw. That's in 90 minutes. If it's settled in extra time, one way or another, so be it. If it's won on penalties by one team or the other, so be it. But my prediction for 90 minutes is that this game ends in a draw. I think the season that these two sides have had, how can it not have the drama of going all the way to extra time or penalties? Like I say, I still think the most likely scenario is Spurs just win this game in 90 minutes. But with the history, with the pressure and the stakes on the line, I still think Manchester United will force something out of this game. And that is, like I say, that's my honest mental opinion. I've got a much stronger heart opinion that's going to be in the other video that I've also just posted. You can check that out at the top of your screen right now. But that's the way I see it going. As always, let me know your thoughts down in the comments section below. It's going to be an incredible final. Obviously, there will be a post-match reaction. Whatever happens, come the full-time whistle, be that at the end of 90 minutes, extra time or penalties. Thank you very much for watching as always. I'll be back tomorrow morning with my prediction for the Women's Champions League final. So I'll see you there.